creator feels that somebody else is showing their video in an unfair way, they can claim that content. Creators aren't like a monoculture. People worry about the algorithm punishing them.
So I know the intro might seem really confusing, but let me explain. So the guy at the beginning, that is Rene. He is the creator liaison on YouTube. And I got the opportunity to fly down to San Francisco, California and interview him. And the other guy is me. And when I got the opportunity, my first thought was, how can I exploit this amazing opportunity for clout? So I decided to ask every big YouTuber that I knew and didn't know and get them to ask YouTube one question. And if you're curious on how I even got this interview in the first place, keep on watching and I'll explain the whole thing. But if you only care about the interview, I completely get it. Just skip here and you'll be good. Now let's get into it. So if you're a big fan of the Advil channel or you're just super observant in the intro, you're gonna notice one thing. That is your boy Advil is a Make-A-Wish kid. So I have this thing called CF. You could look it up or you could just watch 5 Feet Apart. It'll basically explain it in the worst way possible. But basically a lot of my organs just do not work. And so a few years ago, more specifically before COVID, I got the opportunity to do a Make-A-Wish. And because of COVID, it kind of messed it up. But when I finally got my opportunity, I decided that I would use this amazing opportunity to do something incredible. Meet Ludwig. Yeah, my original wish was to meet Ludwig Ogren, and it was going great until he ghosted my Make-A-Wish representative. Then a week later, he did a charity stream for Make-A-Wish. It's fine. I don't care. But while I was thinking of another wish because I got fucking ghosted, I thought to myself, you know, it'd be great if I could actually talk to and meet the CEO of YouTube and interview him. Because while a bunch of people have interviewed the current and past CEOs, it's typically the ones that are vetted by YouTube themselves, like the H3s, the Shane Dawsons, people that are a bit more brand safe, at least at the time of the interview. And so I told my Make-A-Wish representative, and they were super ecstatic about the idea, and it happened really fast. Within like the next couple months, it felt like barely any time passed. I was on a plane to go to San Francisco, and the actual wish itself was great. I got to meet so many cool people. I met Cody Ko. I met the head of YouTube Gaming. I met so many cool people. I got to do so many cool things, and probably the coolest one was the interview itself. So I just wanted to say thank you, YouTube and Make-A-Wish, because it was absolutely sick. Fair warning for the interview, I sent like a massive list filled with questions. A lot of them just we didn't have time to answer or just did not fit what they were looking for. So some of the questions are a bit censored or a bit thought through. I still hope it's enjoyable and insightful to some of you guys. So without further ado, here you go. I'm here with Rene from the YouTube team, and I got some very important questions.
First, about how the YouTube CEO will go forward with the issue of free speech.
Yeah, I think you've always got to balance what is good for the platform, good for the health of the community, and the freedom of speech, which YouTube holds is really, really important. I think that's why we have things like the community guidelines. So we can clearly establish upfront. Creators know upfront what's expected of them. And I think it's like YouTube is new, but these sorts of trade-offs aren't new. In the old days, if you had explicit lyrics, you wouldn't get radio play maybe. Or if you made Disney's gonna make Deadpool, and if they make an R-rated version of Deadpool, they'll get half the box office as if they make like the PG-13 version. So I think inside all creators, because like I've been a creator since 2008, we have our artists and we have like our commerce thing, and we're always making those trade-offs. So like how much do I put in, how much do I take out, how much money do I want, how much audience do I want? And I think like as long as we provide guidelines and we're as consistent as possible with those guidelines, I think creators can find what works best for them.
I wanted to ask about what the thoughts are on mental health and kind of that kind of regard, and how creators are meant to gauge feedback without looking in the comments and seeing some hurtful things. I think a dislike would be, a much better option. It's just one number, but I don't know. I wanted to ask what the YouTube CEO kind of thinks about that.
Yeah, I think that comes down to having options, because creators aren't like a monoculture. There's so many, like as you know well, there's so many different kinds of creators. Some are very like math-centric and statistics-centric, and they want every possible piece of data surfaced towards them. And others are very like artistic and creative, and they don't want to see any data. And by the same token, some creators want to be able to let go of YouTube and go away and not think about their channels for a few like weeks or months and then come back. And others want to be able to batch record a bunch of videos and then schedule them or schedule a community post to go up. So I think YouTube's job is to always help creators prioritize their own mental health, help creators learn about like the same structural things that entertainment industries had for years, and then give all the options we can so they can set up their environment the way that suits them best.
Does YouTube have any plans to implement more features that are built for creator mental health?
Yeah, I think there's two ways to look at that. One is we want to give creators the option again, so they can, for example, they can hide or show the ranking out of 10 on any video, and it'll respect what they did. They can open it again if they're curious. If they have a bad video, they can close it again. So it's never like an all or nothing. You can choose that. And I think also we have to do a really good job educating creators. So like on my channel, I knew if I did an iPhone review, it would blow up. But if I did an accessibility video, it wouldn't do well. And if I saw the 10 out of 10 for that, I knew it, and I'm like, this is so important for my community, I'm gonna do it anyway. And I'm not gonna worry about that. I think it's similar to Hollywood, where you can do the Avengers and get Avengers money in box office, or you can do like the art house film. Sometimes the big blockbuster videos let you have the resources to make those passion projects.
Hi there. False flags for demonetization is something that affects every single content creator that I know, leading to thousands of dollars in lost revenue between creators as well as YouTube. Currently, the only way to seek any form of real clarity or action on these judgments is to take to a third-party app like Twitter to solve issues that could have been potentially resolved before the video's public release. A more robust checking system prior to a video's publishing would help creators better align with YouTube's policies, reduce frustration and confusion, all while reducing financial losses to fix potential issues before they're live and avoid a video getting flagged just days after its release. To what extent is YouTube aware of this issue and what's being done to remedy it? Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, so again, there's several things we want to do because we understand that creators are all different. And we want to first do a better job of explaining, especially when there's changes with the guidelines, because sometimes it's hard even for us to keep track of them. So we want to do a better job letting creators know when there are changes. And there's always changes, whether it's in TV or radio or movies. Like everything is always evolving, and some things get less restrictive, some things get more. It changes over time. So we want to let creators know. We've also been introducing guided flows so that if you have a strike or there's a copyright, we'll walk you through the process of doing that. So then hopefully we take the stress off. You don't have to go everywhere and investigate it, because no one's really going to go and look for this stuff until it happens to them. So when it does happen, we want to provide them with all the information. And then we also want to do a better job explaining, like, advertisers have agency. Like, they get, the same way creators complain when we get demonetized, they might complain if they get put on a video that they think is inappropriate for their brand. Or the same way, like, we might complain if somebody takes our video, another creator might complain if we take their video. So we want to make sure that everyone has fine-grained tools and then as much information as possible to make the best choices possible.
So what are the intended use for partner managers, and do you find them generally helpful in the position of creator?
Yeah, I think for partner managers, there's always going to be more creators than there are partner managers. So part of the job of a partner manager is managing as many creators as they can, and also helping as many creators as we think we can possibly help. Some creators are really good at doing everything. They're instant businesses. They just take off. They seem to know everything they're doing. Others really might struggle creatively. They might struggle in terms of how to have a business and set up. So the way the partner manager system works is we try to get a group of creators, and we move them through the system, try to help educate them, understand our policies, understand the opportunities that are available to them. And I think, for the creators who aren't incredible self-starters, it's really helpful just to have a resource that you can reach out to.
Currently, YouTube Live is a great service with lots of options for monetization. However, compared to Twitch, Kick, etc., it seems there are less discovery options for those who want to live stream exclusively. For example, if I want to watch a stream of the newest Street Fighter, I can easily find that subcategory on the front page of Twitch, whereas YouTube Live is much more broad. Has YouTube noticed this, and are there any plans to expand on the YouTube Live service?
Yeah, so we're doing several things around that, and it's one of some of the feedback we get the most from streamers is they want that discoverability. So I'm going to give you two answers. One is a YouTube person, and then one is a creator. So from the YouTube side, we're doing things there's already YouTube /live where you can go and find live streams. But also now, if a creator is live and you're seeing one of their shorts or you're seeing one of their VODs, they'll have an avatar ring around it that's glowing, so you'll know that you can go there and jump in and be with them when they're live. And we think that if you're already enjoying their content, that's a good indicator you're going to enjoy them when they're going live. And we've also been doing things like live redirect, so one creator can redirect when they stop going live. They can redirect it to another creator to help with that discoverability. But there's obviously a lot more that we can do. We're very good already at discovery for long form, discovery for shorts. So I think focusing more on discoverability. As a creator, I feel like there's just no good discoverability for live. I feel like most people find out there's a live from a social network or something, or it's just a weekly live, and they go and they watch that live and then they drop. They don't go from live to live to live. The pandemic was probably different because we were all sitting home and nothing else to do. But I think in general, live is such a visceral, community, connected-based thing that it doesn't have the happenstantial nature. I'm just gonna watch this video, I'm gonna watch this short. Live is such a commitment that I think the whole industry needs to do more to support live creators.
Yeah. So what are YouTube's feelings towards react creators? There's a lot of streamers from different platforms and even YouTubers that will post their full reaction to a complete video and have it monetized and might give credit, might not, but it shares the same space. There'll be streamers who watch like a 40-minute video, upload a 45-minute reaction, monetize, and have the same title. What is YouTube's feelings towards those creators, and do they think that that's fair?
Yeah, I think like just like stepping back broadly, I think YouTube tries not to have too much of an opinion. Like we don't want to step on creators, we don't want to step on the ecosystem. We really want to let the audience choose what they want to watch. That given, there are like protections. For example, if a creator feels that somebody else is showing their video in an unfair way, they can claim that content. And that's the law. That's nothing to do with YouTube. That's just like under the legal system. You can claim that if you believe it. And the other person can say, hey, this is fair use. For example, there are some creators who don't just stream it or don't just show it, but they do like in-depth legal commentary or medical commentary or psychology commentary. Or you have like the expert, like I'm the fighter pilot and I'm reacting to all these airplane videos. So I think there's some where there's a huge value add, and that does fit under fair use. But if you as a creator don't think it does, I think you have that recourse.
Okay. Are there any plans for YouTube to be more transparent towards its creators in terms of what you're doing with the algorithm, the best ways to promote your channel, changes with how important subs are and how important they're not?
Yeah, that's actually one of the biggest parts of my job. So I'm the YouTube liaison, and my job is to help creators better understand YouTube and be more successful on YouTube. And we're always trying to scale that. One of the challenges is that creators don't look until they have a problem. Like if everything is going great, like they're not searching the web, they're not like on Twitter trying to find threads. It's when those things start to break down. So we're doing interviews. For example, just this week we did an interview with Todd Sherman, who runs our shorts team, and he gave people, like he busted a bunch of myths around shorts, and he talked about how the shorts algorithm works and best practices around it. And a couple weeks before that, we had one with Todd Beaupre, who you mentioned, who does the long form discovery, and he did a bunch of myth busting. We did a talk at VidCon about it. We're putting up more videos. We're answering as many questions as we can on Twitter and on YouTube. I'll go on YouTube, and if I find like someone who's talking about it or struggling, I'll try to give them some help and information. And we're always feeding that into Team YouTube, which is just like a much bigger scale operation, because there's so many creators, and Team YouTube really tries to help as many of them as possible. So it really is about sort of scaling that support, and we want to give creators all the tools so they can sort of self-regulate. Like once we try to explain to them the algorithm is the audience, and you understand your audience reaction, and then we say like go to the audience tab in analytics, and you can see which videos are growing my audience, what other videos are my audience watching that maybe I haven't made yet. Or we now have the research tab in analytics, where you can go and see people who watch my channel are also interested in these topics that I haven't done, and see how interested they are and how that compares. So we want to sort of empower everyone, give you information, but then also empower you to learn how it works and do it on your own.
So at this point, I ran out of my questions, but I still had time in the interview. From here on out, I asked a few questions that just popped in my head. So sorry if they're less scheduled and organized. So here you go.
Yeah.
One question. So I'm a big Ludwig fan.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he'll talk about issues with the platform or things that he's noticed, and he'll bring solutions. Does YouTube watch that and take it into account?
No, absolutely. Like one thing is like YouTube thinks of a lot of this stuff as well, and we're always testing and experimenting and trying to do these things, but nobody thinks of everything. So that's why it's so important to have creators. And like Ludwig will tell us stuff, but a good part of my day is spent just going through various social networks, YouTube, X, Reddit, looking at what creators say. And it doesn't have to be a Ludwig or like a Jimmy, Mr. Beast or somebody. I find a lot of really good ideas from new and emerging creators, because they're hitting the platform for the first time, and they're fresh and they're not jaded and they're super creative. And they'll say, well, what about this? And I'll take that and I'll bring it to the team, and they'll say, oh, this is great. Can you find us more like this? Or try to figure out, is this like widespread? Is this like a unique view? Are there more people feeling like this? And then we also look at it and go, would this help all creators? Would it help some creators? Are there any creators who might be hurt by this? And we try to, because like there's so many different kinds of creators, and that's one of the challenges, is to make sure like, and then we have to think also, like, is there a way for people to abuse this? And what protections do we have to put in so like somebody doesn't go and just start claiming like every single XQC video on the platform? So like we have to build out those systems, but we're absolutely listening all the time. And like I'm at YouTube liaison on most social networks, and people send me those ideas all the time, and I take them right over to the teams.
Ever since like COVID, streaming has become extremely popular, and I didn't know how important the streaming department and like streaming areas were for YouTube.
No, I think like YouTube wants to, again, look at like the full range of creators. So just recently we announced, for example, support for high dynamic range and for 5.1 audio, which is probably niche, but something that really high-end streamers care about. We also announced support for AVC and HEVC. So if you want to do 4K, you can do that at like much higher quality at much lower bandwidth, which is important to some people. And then on the extreme opposite side, there are some people who like, they'll look at LUD or they'll look at like Valkyrie, they'll look at like one of the streamers and go, I can't do that. So we just announced vertical streaming, and you'll be able to go live just from your phone. It'll show up in the shorts feed, so people will be able to discover you at a much higher level. But it's also way more casual. You don't have to worry about like the setup and all the like the LED lights and everything. You can just pick up your phone and live stream, talk about what you're doing in the day, and people can just discover you and go in and chat. And maybe that takes a whole bunch of people who are too nervous to stream and gets them to be the next Ludwig. So we really want to make sure that we're covering like the full range. And we get like stuff from Lud all the time. Emily Baker sends out, like every streamer sends us their suggestions, and we really value them all.
As someone who was like a full-time creator and is now a part of the team, are there any myths or like, I know you've already covered myths, but are there any like things that you hear from YouTubers a lot, known things in the community that aren't true or require a lot more nuance?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we were talking about with the audience. The algorithm is the audience. And like, so creators will say, doesn't matter what time of day I post. And we have a widget in the studio that'll say, this is when your audience is active. But it really, like, does your audience care when you post? And probably not. Like if they don't see it immediately, they'll watch it when it comes around to them. So it's all those sorts of things. Like, ask yourself, don't ask like, what is the algorithm going to think? Just ask, what is my audience going to think? Am I making a video my audience is going to love? Like, you can make any video you want, but if you have all these people watching you already and you give them a video you know they're going to love, they're going to watch that faster, they're going to enjoy it more. Like, you're going to feel great about that video. You're going to give them the ability to binge watch your videos. So I think like one of the important things, the other is like, people worry about the algorithm punishing them. And there's no sense of punishment in the algorithm. Like, they'll say, like, if I take a break, they'll punish me. If I have one bad video, the algorithm will punish me. But it's not in anyone's best interest. Your next video could be the biggest video in the history of YouTube. It could unseat Baby Shark. And like, everyone would love that. So if we arbitrarily choose to punish you because you took a week's vacation or you had one bad video and like that video doesn't blow up, that's bad for everybody. So we really want to give every video every opportunity, and we never give up on a video. Videos are always like sampled to new people, and if we discover a group of people who love that video, we'll just keep recommending it. So I would say, like, just think about what you can do instead of thinking about like hashtags or like optimization. Just think, what would my audience love? And then, you know, Mr. Beast talks about this all the time. Every time you make a video, figure out what you can do to make that video a little bit better. And then every video you're going to get better and better and better and better. And that's the best way, no matter what you want: subscribers, views, anything you want on YouTube. If you concentrate on just, when I was working as a full-time creator, I would write down everything I wanted to fix in a video, and I would pick one thing, and I would work on that over and over again in my next few videos until I felt like I'd handled it, and then I would pick the next thing. And that way I knew for sure that I was working to get better every video, and that's what helped me grow my channel.
What advice would you give to a creator who is known for one style of content but wants to transition to another one?
Yeah, it's actually near and dear to me because I'm doing that on my channel. Because I was a tech creator and now I work for a tech company, which gets a little awkward. So I'm trying to move my channel to something else. And the basic advice is, think about your channel, and you can always start a new channel. Channels are like shows. Like, you can have Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad, and you can have Bryan Cranston in Malcolm in the Middle. Probably not on the same show, but like, so if you're gonna do something wildly different, it might be worth investigating at least another channel. But what you can do is make a few videos in the new format. Like, keep doing your other videos, maybe do like 20% of the new kinds of videos, see how your audience reacts. If it's negative, think about another channel. If it's positive, maybe go to 50%, and then go to 80%, and then finish the transition. Don't worry about the old videos. Some people worry that, oh, the algorithm is gonna think my audience is this. The algorithm will figure it out. So like, enjoy those views. Like, don't throw away those views. Those views might still be giving you a lot of evergreen like views and evergreen AdSense, so just leave them. And then get into your new content and make that new content as good as possible and grow that new audience. And some will come with you, and you'll also discover a whole bunch of new people.
And that's the interview. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope it was informative, and I hope you found it interesting. And that's going to be it for me today. Again, big thank you to YouTube, Rene, and everyone else on the YouTube team, and Cody for inviting me down there. And I think that's it. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Breakfast with a bitch named Tiffany, Wrist gave me stink cause it's ivory, Got your mommy with me now, irony, Trying to pipe my dentist, fake a cavity, What? I got my panties up, and you withdrew. I got my panties up, and you withdrew. I got my panties up, and you withdrew. I got my panties up, so I'm the center of it.